President Esteban and distinguished guests, I am Alan Deloge, University Archivist. It is my honor to welcome you here to Seton Hall University's 2012 Charter Day Convocation. Today we celebrate the 151st anniversary of the signing of our charter. We also celebrate our history and mission as a Catholic university. On this occasion, we honor those who have served the university community long and well. And today we honor our student leaders and those outstanding individuals who support them. Please rise as Dr. Gloria Thurman, Faculty Associate of Music, leads us in the national anthem. She will be accompanied by Mr. John Novick, University Organist and Director of Music. Please remain standing while Monsignor Anthony Zaccardi, Vice President for Mission and Ministry, leads us in prayer.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wheeled at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? For the ramparts we watched, so yieldedly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Almighty God, we gather this day in memory and celebration of the chartering of Seton Hall by the state of New Jersey. Ages before this charter, Jesus, who is the supreme teacher and himself the truth, gave this mandate through the apostles to the church. Go therefore and teach all nations. Through the apostles too, your disciples in every age have been charged, not only to know the truth, but to do it as Jesus taught. Love one another as I have loved you. That is in the manner of humble servants. This was the new commandment according to Jesus, who himself has written it not on stone, but on hearts of flesh, our hearts, by the finger of God that is the Holy Spirit. To this testament or covenant of Jesus, we have not always been responsive or faithful, but continually all men and women are called to fidelity by the church, and they are schooled and trained for it in institutions of Catholic higher education, such as Seton Hall, which has committed itself to the formation of servant leaders after the conduct of Jesus and the inspiration of its namesake, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. Grant, O Lord, that Seton Hall may never waver, but remain ever steadfast in the pursuit of its noble mission, in the fulfillment of the Church's mandate, and in discharge of its lawful charter, in order that the learning it acquires and disseminates may be the cause of human progress towards all that is true and good and beautiful, to the renown and praise of your name, through Christ our Lord.
Thank you, Dr. Thurman and Mr. Novick. And thank you, Monsignor Zaccardi, for your warm and heartfelt invocation. It's a privilege to introduce our president, Dr. A. Gabriel Esteban. He is truly a man on the move. Since we have last gathered for Charter Day, he was invested as the university's 20th president. He introduced the public tuition initiative for the class of 2016. The Board of Regents approved our strategic plan, Strength to Strength, and Dr. Esteban has done a bit of traveling. Before and after his investiture last October, he visited 22 cities across the country for receptions with more than 1,200 loyal alumni. They turn out in record numbers to hear that while Seton Hall is on the move, it remains ever true to the founding principles we celebrate today. It will always be a home for academic excellence that broadens the mind, nurtured by the heart of Seton Hall's Catholic mission, and infused with the spirit that is the core of servant leadership. Dr. Esteban.
Thank you, Alan. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, to the 151st anniversary of the signing of Seton Hall's charter. We are here to celebrate our history and traditions, to acknowledge who we are and where we are going. We are fortunate today to have as our keynote speaker Dr. Joseph DiPiero, who will talk to us about his journey. Thank you, Dean DiPiero, for your work in the College of Education and Human Services in preparing our students to be future teachers and scholars. Each year on Charter Day, the university acknowledges 3 special employees whose distinguished service to Seton Hall sets them apart. They have dedicated their lives and careers to the university and its students. I want to congratulate Monsignor James Cafone, Dr. Rory Murphy, and Ms. Mary Gross as the 2012 McQuaid Medalists. Congratulations also to this year's Servant Leader Scholars, whose names are listed in your program, and the recipients of the President's Award for Student Service, Maureen Burns, Emily Hampton, and Mark Maven. I commend your contributions to our Seton Hall community. Please enjoy today's convocation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Esteban. Now it is my privilege to introduce Dr. Joseph DiPiero, Dean of the College of Education and Human Services, who will give the Charter Day address. His presence is particularly fitting because his own McQuaid Medal, awarded in 2010, testifies to the esteemed 40-year career that he has had here at Seton Hall. It is one that, as Dean at least, has come to an end this year after serving in that post since 2001. Fortunately for us, he intends to return after a sabbatical. For now, we highlight a tenure that began in 1970 as an associate professor and an outstanding teacher who developed many of the courses in elementary and secondary education associated with teaching language arts. Besides Dean, he served in many other leadership roles, including coordinator of the elementary education program and chair of the Department of Education Studies. Teaching remains his passion. When he is in a classroom, and has recently included 2 stints at Core Signature 1, he is ever on the lookout for doing things better and regularly updates the content of his courses. Teaching to Dr. DiPiero has always been about learning, along with his students. That is why the title of Dr. DiPiero's talk is so appropriate, A Journey of Transformation. Dr. DiPiero.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and a special welcome to our president, Dr. Esteban, and our provost and executive vice president, Larry Robinson, and of course, vice president for mission and ministry, Monsignor Anthony Zaccardi, and our members of our Charter Day committee, and to all of you, of course. And let me offer a special congratulations to this year's McQuaid Medal recipients, and of course to our servant leader scholars who are here today to be recognized. And I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to address you on Charter Day 2012. You know, I began my association with Seton Hall University as a full-time employee during the summer of 1970. I think it was actually the end of June or the beginning of July. But I was here before that. I began as a student, an undergraduate, in the fall of 1961. So I've been here for a good number of years, and I've seen a lot of things happen and a lot of change. As a matter of fact, when I was asked for a title of my speech, one of the options that came to mind was Things Change. And there's a movie by that name too, but that's a story for another day. I also thought of calling it my swan song or Whither From Here. But ultimately, I stuck with my first thought, a journey of transformation, which just happens to be the title of the first core course that all of our freshmen are required to take. I've taught 2 sections of that course in 2 different years, and for no extra pay. I did not get paid extra for that. I came to the understanding that it's not just our students who are on a journey of transformation, but their faculty as well. You can't be here for 40 or more years without some change occurring, some transformation in the way you think and in the way you live. We are all subject to dramatic events in our lives, whether it is losing a loved one or finding a loved one, whether it is failing in business or succeeding in business, whether it is losing God or finding God. Change occurs, transformation occurs, whether we want it to or not, whether we welcome it or not. How we respond to these changes determines our character, our mettle, our future, and how we spend eternity. There are some who believe that change continues to occur long after we have passed from earth, long after we have ceased being mortal. Whole religions are based on this premise. So, how have I changed since 1961? Well, there are certain physical transformations that, although superficial, cannot be denied. My hair is grayer. Well, in fact, it's white. My weight has increased. I've got more lines and wrinkles in my face and in other parts of my body which won't be named. I'm sagging in some embarrassing places, and I'm sure that other changes have occurred as well. But it's not these physical changes that are important. It's the other changes, the changes in character, in thinking, in beliefs, and behavior that count. When I first arrived at Seton Hall in 1961, there was only one major dorm, no student center. The main dining room and bookstore were in the basement of Corrigan Hall. As the years progressed and I graduated and eventually returned to my alma mater as an employee, other brick and mortar changes occurred as well. We now have multiple dorm facilities. We are talking about constructing a new university center, an expanded athletic facility, and other projects that will change the face of Seton Hall. But these are, after all, physical changes only and don't really touch the true nature of the place. It took me some time before I realized that the true nature of Seton Hall resides within the phrase, a home for the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And once I came to that realization, it influenced my thinking and my behavior in dramatic ways. I understood why I was here and what my purpose was in life. I understood what I needed to do. I finally understood my role as a servant leader. In the 2 sections of the Journey course that I taught, one of the things that we did was to review 3 Christ movies: Jesus Christ Superstar, The Last Temptation of Christ, and The Passion of the Christ. 3 very different films with very interesting messages. All 3 were controversial in their times, but I believe the most controversial one was The Last Temptation of Christ. Now, as I remember it, the film focused on the devil tempting Jesus with some very human pleasures: the love of a woman, the love of children, and a happy human life. So why was this so controversial? Perhaps it was the vision of Jesus in a woman's arms. Perhaps it was the thought of Jesus siring children. Perhaps it was the knowledge of Jesus living a normal human life. In any event, Jesus, although tempted, did not give in to Satan's ploy, and he completed his mission. Talk about a servant leader. He gave his all for us without a complaint. It was this that made me understand what being a servant leader truly means. It was this that made me understand why Seton Hall is a home for the mind, heart, and spirit. It was this that transformed me and made me worthy of receiving the McQuaid Medal in 2010. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. DiPiero. The Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service is awarded annually to long-serving members of the Seton Hall University community who have demonstrated outstanding service and commitment to the university's mission. Introducing this year's McQuaid Medalist is Dr. Larry A. Robinson, Provost and Executive Vice President. Dr. Esteban will present the medals. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Professor Delosier. It is indeed a pleasure to be a part of these proceedings, recognizing service distinguished by excellence. Commissioned in 1964 in honor of the first president of Seton Hall University, the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service is presented to long-serving members of the university faculty, staff, and administration in recognition of their outstanding contributions to the university community. The recipients of this award strive with excellence to fulfill Seton Hall's mission every day, and I'm pleased to recognize them at this time. I'm especially pleased and deeply honored to have the privilege to recognize and pay tribute to Monsignor Cafone, a recipient of the McQuaid Medal. Will Monsignor Cafone please stand? Monsignor James Cafone exemplifies the outstanding characteristics of those who have been awarded the McQuaid Medal and the extraordinary qualities of the person who has generously served Seton Hall University. He served as the spiritual director of the College of Seminary of the Immaculate Conception from 1972 to 1985. He was then asked to take on a greater role as vice rector and director of formation at the Immaculate Conception Seminary. In this role, he created new programs for the priestly formation program. Since 2005, he has been a member of the Board of Regents and the Board of Trustees. In 2009, he served on the Presidential Search Committee. In all instances, his efforts, insight, service have benefited Seton Hall University. 47 years after his ordination, his love and devotion of the priesthood continuously manifests itself in the extensive commitment and service to the Archdiocese of Newark and its people, as well as to the 44 archdiocesan priests who reside here, and overwhelmingly recommended him as minister to the priest community in 1999, a mantle he presently holds. As one priest said, Monsignor Cafone has ministered to students, faculty, administration, and staff as an exemplary priest. This unique and special service transcends throughout the university community. One of Monsignor Cafone's great passions has always been the teaching of undergraduate students. His courses in religion are very popular with students and consistently draw a waiting list at registration time. Monsignor Cafone daily illustrates what Lincoln described in his first inaugural address in the concluding phrase, "He gives us faith in the better angels of our nature." His work and career represent that tenet. I admire his qualities as a priest and as a valued colleague. He sets an example that when we are younger, we strive to emulate and wish we had when we were old. For his service to Seton Hall University, Monsignor James Cafone is a most worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Monsignor Cafone, please come forward to receive your medal. Join with me in recognizing him. Will Miss Mary Gross please stand? It takes a special kind of individual to hold down a multitude of responsibilities, a job, while simultaneously earning a degree. That requires dedication, commitment, devotion, perseverance, resulting in Ms. Gross graduating in 2000. Ms. Gross' enthusiasm and spirit are contagious. As she relishes a challenge, she was the first administrative assistant in the Whitehead School of Diplomacy and International Relations, helping build a foundation of success it enjoys today. She played the same instrumental role with the School of Graduate and Medical Education when it was established 8 years before, during which time she impressed her supervisors and colleagues, as one said, by serving her departments well, while at the same time imparting enough goodwill to make friends and colleagues at each appointment. This esteem carries through in her work for her 200 fellow employees in Local 153 of the Office and Professional Employees International Union. Mary Gross says she's found a home at Seton Hall, but it is Mary Gross who has helped make Seton Hall a home and a community for all of us. We benefit from her presence. For her service to Seton Hall University, Mary Gross is a most worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Ms. Gross, please come forward to receive your medal. Let's recognize her. Thank you. Will Dr. Roy Murphy please stand? Dr. Murphy has ably served Seton Hall since 1986. A noted and respected teacher, scholar, and mentor, his work with students exemplifies the finest aspect of Seton Hall's Catholic mission and ideals. There are numerous highlights of an extraordinary, distinguished academic career. Over a decade ago, Dr. Murphy instituted an innovative research program for freshman students in chemistry and biochemistry. Today, experimental learning is a valued cornerstone across much of our curriculum. Dr. Murphy has also provided leadership for our Claire Booth Luce Foundation efforts to promote women in science. Under Dr. Murphy's leadership, our innovative and undergraduate scholarship programs have drawn national attention and provided full scholarships to 44 of our top female science majors. Our mid-career scholarships have allowed several of our top students to continue their education at Seton Hall, making a difference in their lives. Dr. Murphy's lab is always filled with students, whether researching, seeking advice, counsel, or just to talk. He creates the time and the opportunity to work with them, answer their questions, or simply provide a sympathetic ear. He is fulfilling a cherished and vital role of mentoring, guiding, and developing students. Dr. Murphy's generosity with his time and talent makes Seton Hall a special place to work and learn, and is an example to which faculty should aspire. His students often continue their research pursuits throughout their undergraduate studies. He truly represents and models the traits and characteristics that one associates with the distinction accorded a professor. For his service to Seton Hall University, Dr. Roy Murphy is a most worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Dr. Murphy, please come forward to receive your medal. Help me congratulate him.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson and Dr. Esteban, and congratulations to the 2012 McQuaid medalist. Responsiveness to the needs of our students has been essential to the mission of Seton Hall since our founding more than 150 years ago. The President's Award for Student Service is awarded annually to individuals who are nominated by our students. The award winners this year have rendered outstanding service to our students and have demonstrated their commitment to listening and responding to their needs, suggestions, and concerns of our students in countless ways. It is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Professor John Shannon, who will introduce three individuals who will receive the President's Award for Student Service. Dr. Esteban will present the awards. Professor Shannon.
Hello, everyone. Will Professor Maureen Burns please stand? A nationally credentialed certified nurse midwife, Maureen Byrne has been a valued member of the faculty in the College of Nursing since 2009. She has a special interest in natural childbirth and delivering women's health care to underserved populations, and has received numerous awards at the national level for clinical excellence. But her CV tells only part of the story. Her students are eager to fill in the blanks. In delivering health care to the underserved, one student noted how much of a difference she has made at St. Raphael's House in Elizabeth, which became a learning experience for her class as well. Another talked of a time when they were walking down a hall in Arts and Sciences Hall and were confronted by a puddle. When the student naturally began to walk around it, Professor Burns quizzed her on the potential danger and then invited me to take ownership of the situation, providing yet another lesson that even the seemingly smallest acts can have a great impact. Obviously, she's had that impact, or, in the words of another student, Professor Burns never fails to show she is a nurse. I only hope I can one day be as close to the nurse she is. That's about as good as it gets. For her service to our students, Professor Maureen Burns is a most worthy recipient of the President's Award for Student Service. Professor Burns, please come forward to receive your award. Will Emily Hampton please stand? There is nothing like a go-to person. You know the kind I mean. The one who not only knows where files and supplies are to be found, but the one who can untangle the thickets that come with dealing with human resource issues or turning the capellini of course offerings at registration time into a perfectly tailored schedule for another semester. In the College of Nursing, everyone knows that go-to person is Emily Hampton, who has served our university so well since 2009. Students in the College of Nursing have praised her highly. Here are just some of their comments. Whether it was assisting us with the application process, serving as our academic advisor, or orienting us with our respective nursing programs. She's always greeted us with a warm welcome and a friendly smile. She is approachable, open, and informative. And probably best, Emily is the unsung hero of the nursing department. For her service to our students, Emily Hampton is a most worthy recipient of the President's Award for Student Service. Ms. Hampton, would you come forward to receive your award? Okay, anybody that wants flowers has to join the nursing school. I didn't get flowers. Will Mr. Mark Mabin please stand? Since coming to WSOU as its general manager in 2004, Mark Mabin has parlayed his own professional broadcasting experience into helping pirate radio achieve new heights. Its studios and equipment are of such a caliber that they are the envy of those who work in professional broadcasting. Meanwhile, WSOU's voice can now be heard far beyond the 25-mile radius its transmitter projects. These are accomplished via innovations like streaming and iHeartRadio. But everyone who knows there is more to Mark than just the technology. As the students who recommended him for this award said, he consistently looks out for their interests, whether it is supporting their decisions that they make about their station or their own personal well-being. He is more than a general manager, one said. Whenever students have personal worries or conflicts in their lives, he is always willing to lend an ear and help out. It's this fact that makes him a truly special leader, a man of integrity who truly cares about Seton Hall students. For his service to our students, Mark Mabin is a most worthy recipient of the President's Award for Student Service. Mr. Mabin, would you please come forward to accept your award?
And thank you, Professor Shannon and Dr. Esteban. And congratulations to recipients of the President's Award for Student Service. It is now my pleasure to welcome again to the podium Monsignor Anthony Zaccardi, who will present this year's Servant Leader Scholars. Monsignor Zaccardi.
The Bible tells us a story of a young man who was placed by his parents in the temple of Shiloh to be of service to the priest there as their assistant. One night he awoke not sure what was happening to him. He went to Eli the priest, who told him that he should go back, and if it happened again, he should say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." Well, the young man did just as he had been instructed. He was Samuel, and he went on to become a great prophet and the last of the judges over Israel, who brought eventually the kings of Israel to their thrones, the first kings of Israel. I like to think of Seton Hall as an analogy to that story that I just told you. Seton Hall is the place where young people come to discern their vocation and to be trained and to be dedicated to it so that they might achieve their life's purpose. using their God-given abilities and talents. Seton Hall does this in general through many of its programs, but especially through the Center for Vocation and Servant Leadership, and through the programs it runs for the students who take part in the center. So you'll see in your programs there's an extensive list of those who do take part in the programs of the center. We want to recognize those who are here today, especially our seniors. So I'm going to ask each of the seniors to stand when he or she is called. I'll tell you something about the person, the young person, and I ask you to hold your applause until we've introduced all the seniors, and then we'll introduce the rest of the scholars that are with us. So if we can have Jasmine Acevedo stand, please. Jasmine is a criminal justice and social work double major from Newark, New Jersey. She's planning to go to graduate school for her master's in social work at NYU. She hopes in the future to work with juveniles in detention centers. Jasmine is currently doing an internship in Newark at Partnership for Children of Essex. She is also the president of Adelante Student Organization. Since 16 years of age, Jasmine has been a youth group leader in her parish. Jasmine. How about Mary Anderson? Mary Anderson, please stand. Mary is an accounting major from Mohegan Lake, New York. Mary will be pursuing a master's in science and professional accounting at Seton Hall starting this summer. She's been offered a full-time position at the company for which she interned in New York City. She has accepted a position at KPMG as a financial services auditor. During her undergraduate years here, Mary was very much moved by a mission trip to El Salvador. Nick Carrico. Nick is a social and behavioral science major with a minor in psychology. He's from Kearney, New Jersey. Starting this summer, Nick will be pursuing a graduate degree in occupational therapy right here at Seton Hall. Throughout his time here, Nick has been very involved with Dove, and the service trips to El Salvador and Haiti made a deep impression on him. Since high school, he's been a counselor at Camp New Day Hands, working with adults with special needs. He's currently been chosen for a leadership position on their board. And Amanda Genevieve is a management major and a Catholic Studies minor from Watchung, New Jersey. She is a co-founder of the Stillman Management Society. She has a GPA of 4.0, is part of 6 honor societies, and will have at least 9 cords at graduation. She's the youngest person in her parish ever to become a Eucharistic minister, a service which she enjoys very much. Juliet Hughes is a social work and sociology major from Dunellen, New Jersey. Juliet was exposed to poverty in the inner city when she began volunteering at St. John's Soup Kitchen in Newark. This helped her to discern a call to do social work, specifically counseling. Juliet is planning to get a graduate degree from Columbia University, and during the coming year, she'll be preparing to go to Columbia. Timothy LaCrasse is a journalism major from Forked River, New Jersey. He is a finalist in the selection of a student speaker at commencement. He plans to leave New Jersey right after graduation for Indiana, where he has a job waiting for him in sports broadcasting. He feels that everything he's done by way of community service has molded him into the person he is today and would like to give back to the community. Peter Peregrine is a physician assistant major from South Plainfield, New Jersey. Peter is planning on a career as an emergency room physician assistant. He'll be taking his boards in June. We'll be praying for him. Peter was greatly influenced by a medical mission trip to Honduras, as well as a mission trip to El Salvador. Elaine San Juan is a biology major from Garfield, New Jersey. She plans to study medicine at the School of Osteopathy in South Jersey, which is part of UMDNJ. Elaine has been accepted in the Teach for America program, which will delay her medical school for 2 years. She's also applied to the Global Health Association program and was accepted to do medical mission work in Ecuador this summer. One of the service trips she made to El Salvador had a significant impact on her, and she's decided eventually to open her own nonprofit organization to do medical mission work abroad. How about if we give these impressive seniors a round of applause? And now I'd like to introduce you to the other servant leader scholars who are here. I'd ask them to stand when I call their names, and we'll hold our applause to the end. Jessica Card is a sophomore, and she wants to be a physician assistant, and that's what she's pursuing. Ninoshka Chelly is a junior. Physical therapy? No, she's not here. Okay, some of these folks are probably in class. Marilyn Cruz is a sophomore, and she's in elementary and special education and biology. Cassie Denbo is a junior, and she's pursuing diplomacy. Stephanie Gonzalez is a sophomore, and she's at our business school. Caitlin Hurtle is a freshman, and she is also in diplomacy and international relations. Maura Kelly is a junior, and she's in elementary and special education. Kristen Kosh is a freshman, and she is pursuing physical therapy. Taylor LaTourette is a sophomore, and he is pursuing philosophy. Daniela Malia is a freshman, and she's in occupational therapy. Marina McDermott is a freshman and pursuing business. Andrew Nguyen is a sophomore, and he's studying political science. We also have Stephanie Pereira, who's a junior, and she's going to be a nurse. And we have Nicole Finn, who's a freshman. No, she's not here. Okay. We have John Procopio, who's a junior, and in elementary and special education. We have Andrea Sherman, who's a freshman in diplomacy and international relations. We have Berto Vergara, who's a freshman in Catholic studies. We have Tara Wager, who's a freshman and pursuing secondary education. And Kayla Ward, who's a sophomore and wants to be a nurse. And finally, we have a couple of graduate students, actually. We have Kim Brauenfeind. She's doing physical therapy. And Jennifer Walker, who's also a graduate student doing physical therapy. And I think there may be someone else. James Feeler may have shown up, although he wasn't sure he was going to. Yes? Yeah, he is here. He's a freshman, and he's in English. Creative writing his particular field. So let's have a round of applause for these servant leaders.
Thank you, Monsignor Zaccardi, and congratulations to our servant leader scholars. This concludes the Charter Day convocation. Following the recessional, everyone is invited to a light reception in the Jubilee Hall lobby just outside this room. And now, please rise and join Dr. Gloria Thurman in the singing of our alma mater. Please remain standing until the Deus Party exits the auditorium. Thank you very much, everybody.
To alma mater, all be loyal, keep in memory's light, never waver from her precepts, either banner blue and white. Oh, sing a praise to high skies, and be faithful in her eyes, for she will foster all your dreams. Her name is Seton Hall. Her name is Seton Hall. When on life's hard stones you stumble, pray to God to be your guide. Think of Seton Hall, your mother, then for joy in steady stride. Oh, sing her praise to high skies, and be faithful in her